Do not go to IKEA in a pandemic unless you absolutely need to. Hey guys, I'm Kristen, also known as Voolenvine, here on my YouTube channel where I chat about what I'm knitting, what I'm sewing, what I'm making, or whatever crafty rabbit hole I happen to be diving down. And this week is yet another knitting episode because I have not touched my sewing machine in quite some time, unfortunately. So welcome back. I hope you guys are down for that. You might notice if you are a returning viewer that the background has changed up yet again. I know. Who am I? I'm a crazy woman. I'm actually coming to you from my dye dungeon where I dye yarn, and I decided to create an alternative recording nook for myself. But why, Kristen? Why? Why do you need another recording nook? You have your craft room upstairs. Well, ever since COVID-19 broke out, my husband Dennis has been working from home. And I will admit, I still get very awkward recording an episode when people are around, even Dennis. It's just, I can't get over it. And even though he's very good about, giving me space and everything, I know he's there. So this kind of gives me a little more separation to record my episodes and feel a little bit more comfortable and confident in front of the camera. It sounds crazy, I know, I really just need to get over it, but that's how I am. But that's not the only reason why I decided to create another area for myself. The other reason is just to kind of create some more separation between work and life, because I work a lot down in the basement, dyeing yarn and fulfilling orders and admin stuff, and it just saves me a lot of time going up and down between my craft room. If I can just, dye yarn, and then when I know it's recording day, I can just plop down here, everything's set up. All I need to do is flick on the lights, hit record, and I can roll. So it makes my life just a little bit more easier. And I will say also, I've been in kind of a creative rut. And I've talked about being in a creative slump or rut, so to speak, in the past. I feel like ever since COVID-19 broke out, it's been coming in waves. I'm really grateful that I have knitting, sewing, photography, historical fashion, all those interests to fall back on when one isn't grabbing me at the moment. However, I just feel lately that all of those interests have kind of, I don't know, I just feel like this sense of overwhelm, like I need to clear the decks and just kind of not do any of those, if that makes any sense, for a short while. So taking on this little project back here, just redecorating a little corner of my dye studio, has given me just a really nice break from the norm, so to speak, because yes, every day seems to be Groundhog Day here, here in Bushwick, Brooklyn. This has just kind of allowed me to mix things up, take a break, get a fresh perspective on things, and I have to say, it has worked. My mojo is definitely coming back. So this weekend I definitely want to do some more sewing and the like. So that's what this is all about. But I hope you guys enjoy the little, switch of scenery. I had a lot of fun doing it, and yeah, so anyway, it's by no means complete. I'm still toying around and playing around with the decor. I feel like it could use a little bit more gothing up, dare I say. It's very modern, and I feel like it needs a little Victorian flair to it. I don't know, I'm still playing around, so we shall see. But I'm very happy with the bokeh effect that's happening in the background. So we have that. I digress. Let's get into what I've been making this week. But first, just a couple of administrati notes. Of course, we do have our year-long make-along, the History Make-Along, in which we are all endeavoring to make something historically inspired. So be it knitting, sewing, weaving, embroidery, whatever your craft is, as I say every week, you're welcome to join. The idea is to create something based on your favorite time period or era in history prior to the 1950s. And there are a couple ways to join. The first being is to hop on over to the Voolenvine Ravelry group, where there's a thread specifically for the History Make-Along, and just join the chatter there, share your progress, photos, links, whatever. Your participation in there will automatically enter you to win a giveaway come March 2021, where I'll lock the thread and choose a random winner. However, if you do not have access to Ravelry at the moment, the other way to join is to share your work over on Instagram using the hashtag HISTORYMAL. I do follow that hashtag, and I've just had so much fun seeing all of your beautiful projects that you've been sharing over there, so definitely check that out as an alternative. And yes, double dipping is completely allowed, so I highly encourage it. Yeah, so there's that. And then in previous weeks, I also mentioned that the Voolenvine YouTube community tab is also an option to participate. And unfortunately, I'm realizing that the community tab is not ideal for this type of make-along, only because that participants can't share photos of their work. They can only comment on things and share links, and I feel like this is a very visual type of make-along, so I am going to cut the cord on using the community tab as a way to participate, and I'm sure you can agree, nobody has been posting in there. You know, there are a couple of comments in there, but nothing really, you know, where we can engage fully. I apologize for any confusion, but I do encourage you to feel free to use the community tab as a way to engage with others that are subscribed to this YouTube channel, to share stuff, to chat with me. I feel like there's lots of potential there. So anyway, that is all the announcements I have. All right, my friends, we have a finished sock. It's done, it's done. I have a hoe. I'm getting old. I cannot remember if I showed you a finished sock on the last episode. We're gonna do it again if I did. So this is the Dreaming of Paris socks by Locatelli, and it is an absolutely beautiful pattern. I love this pattern to bits. The only issue that I have with this sock is that on this side, you can see where I switched colors. And this is before I actually employed the helical knitting method, a method that prevents this type of thing from happening. Yeah, unfortunately, that is kind of an eyesore, and initially I thought it wasn't going to bother me, but I'm not gonna lie, it kind of does. Thankfully, I will have enough yarn after the second sock to knit a third sock, so I may just do that. I know at the end of the day, this isn't really going to be visible if I'm wearing it in a shoe, but I would just really like a nice pair of socks because this is such a beautiful pattern. You can see right here, there's this beautiful lace detail that's gonna look so even more beautiful once it's all blocked out. And I'm doing a crap job of hand blocking it for you, but you get the idea. And again, the yarn is my hand-dyed yarn, Voolenvine yarns, in two colorways. This is Black Pearl. I would describe it as an iridescent gray. It's gray with these pinky undertones to it. And then of course, this pink right here is Jilted Rose. And down here, the colorways just alternate every single row. And then she has you do a grafted heel flap and turn, and then just a simple grafted toe. And I actually made a mistake. I was supposed to use pink over here for the toe, but honestly, I mean, it doesn't matter. I love the way it looks. This is the bottom of the sock, and I'll show you again where I started doing helical knitting. So you can see I was changing colors and, you know, just carrying the yarn, twisting it behind each other, and was creating this, you know, unsightly little pucker at the bottom of the foot. And then I started doing helical knitting over here, and you cannot see where I switched colors at all. So yeah, helical knitting is the best for knitting stripes. Brilliant. And yes, but that's not all. Wait for it, there's more. I cast on the second sock. Oh my goodness, I'm making up songs now. It's been a week, my friends. The second sock has commenced, and I finished knitting the leg, and I've started the heel flap. I'm almost done with that. No second sock syndrome here, my friends. Yeah, so again, such a really lovely pattern. It's not difficult at all. It's quite simple. I mean, it's really just a cuff down sock. There's a little bit of lace, and then once you're past the lace, it's all just smooth sailing from there, and Bob's your uncle. Next up, we have progress on my Pebble Beach shawl, which is a pattern by Helen Stewart, and as you can see, I'm making quite a lot of progress on it. I am so enjoying this pattern the second time around, and I'm already at the point where I think I need to switch to the third colorway, believe it or not. If you're not familiar with Helen Stewart's patterns, she does this brilliant thing where she charts out the entire pattern. On the pattern itself, you can just check off the row that you just completed, and she also includes a percentage to let you know how far along in the pattern you are. So according to the pattern, I believe I'm about 60 to 75% done with this, so I should start incorporating the third colorway at some point soon. But you can see that I attempted to fade in the second colorway. The fading didn't really happen, but you know, it's pretty much a stark contrast between color A and color B, but I actually really like the way it turned out. It kind of looks, you know, really nice. And the yarn that I'm using is Once Upon a Corgi in her rose gold colorway for color A, and color B is her hearth colorway. And then for color C, I'm going to be using Countess Ablaze. And this is a colorway that I picked up at EYF, the last EYF that I went to. And this is her Lady Persephone sock yarn, Brave New World. So I think that's gonna look really, really nice with this at the end. I feel like the rose gold is very similar to my flesh tone. It's, yeah, maybe I should have switched the color order. I don't know. But anyway, I'm still loving it. It's such a relaxing knit. If you remember, I'm knitting a shawl as kind of a way to remember my grandmother who recently passed away. And it's just been such a really nice, relaxing, meditative pattern to revisit. Yeah, so that is where I am with it. And I will be completely honest, I am at a point in my life where, as a knitter, I think I'm set in the shawl department. I have so many that I can, you know, just alternate between, you know, as an accessory, but I definitely find myself wanting to knit more garments because they're practical and I'm going to, you know, get more wear out of them. But this pattern is exactly what I needed at the time, you know, and I still need it, you know, it's like I'm still enjoying working on it. It's just been such a really nice meditative knit. The colors and everything speak to my soul on so many levels. So anyway, that is where I am with my Pebble Beach shawl. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say. Yeah, I think that is it. So yeah. Speaking of shawls, you're probably wondering what shawl Margot the mannequin is wearing. She's actually wearing the Meer shawl, one of the very first shawl patterns that I designed. And it's actually been hanging out down in my dye dungeon the whole time. And I figured, you know, I brought her down here for some background decoration, and I saw Meer just hanging out in a box over here. I'm like, you know what? Let's get the Meer out and just, you know, dress Margot up in it. So I think it looks really nice with the greenery happening here. And those are fake plants, by the way, guys. They're not real because I kill plants. I am the worst plant owner. I'm getting better, but for down here, the least path of resistance when it comes to caring for plants. I mean, yeah. And I believe that is all the knitting content that I have to share with you this week, guys. So I'm going to move along to the blather segment where I chat about life stuff, should you care to stick around. Dennis and I, as I mentioned, we went to IKEA to pick up this shelf. I was surprised that they were even open. I did check online to see if IKEA was indeed open. They were, amid the whole COVID-19 crisis. We are actually, New York State is actually in phase 4 right now of COVID-19 recovery. So that means that, you know, stores are open with limited capacity, restaurants are open, but here in Manhattan, they're not actually letting restaurants serve indoors. So there is outdoor eating, but we're not allowed to eat indoors, which is completely understandable because Manhattan is such a dense, has such a dense population. It's impossible to, you know, keep space between people indoors. It's just not gonna happen. So anyway, you know, I did order the bookshelf online for pickup. I should have known better because it's not just as simple as ordering it online and picking it up. No, my friends. You have to go to IKEA, go to the queue. They had many different queues. They had a queue to get into the store, which was worse than which looked worse than a line at Disneyland to get on Space Mountain. I have no idea. It's been a while since I've been to Disneyland. Does Space Mountain still exist? I have no idea. Anyway, it was a line that I was not willing to wait on no matter how much you pay me for. But thankfully, they directed us to another line for pickup. When we got to that line, it was thankfully shorter, but the catch was you had to check in on your iPhone and take a virtual number online, and you would get a text when your order is ready for pickup. So I was number 20, which doesn't sound bad, but you know, after you're sitting there for like a half an hour and you're only at 17, Dennis and I were kind of getting antsy. So the Brooklyn IKEA is actually located in Red Hook. So it's kind of like an old like Brooklyn Navy Yard area. So there are a lot of these old abandoned rigs and ships and, you know, docks and everything. So Dennis and I took a little walk along the water and we got a nice little walk in. So that was fun. But lesson learned, do not go to IKEA in a pandemic unless you absolutely need to. It's not worth it, guys. I mean, I'm very pleased with my purchase. So, you know, I'm glad that I at least came away with a shelf and a plastic plant, but, you know, not worth the wait, I don't think. But anyway, yeah, that was our weekend last weekend, which is one of the reasons why I didn't get much sewing done or any sewing done last weekend. Guys, I need to get some sewing done. I miss it so much. So this weekend, I am just clearing the decks. I'm not doing anything other than getting some sewing done. And I have to admit, I have a couple of projects that I need to finish that I was excited about it when I started those projects, but I'm one of those people that, if I don't keep momentum on a project, if I don't keep at it, I will lose interest, which is not a good, I don't know. I don't think it's a good trait. Is that what you can call it? A trait? I don't know. But anyway, if I don't keep momentum with something, I have a tendency to lose interest in it altogether. There is a dress that I'm working on that I really should finish. I'm so close to finishing it. I might as well just finish it. I'm just not as excited about it as I was when I started it. I'm rambling at this point, so I'm gonna wrap things up here. Thank you so much, as always, for hanging out with me this week. I will be back again next week with hopefully a sewing episode for you and another shorter episode earlier in the week. And thank you so much to everybody for all the wonderful feedback regarding the new format of this YouTube channel. I'm having so much fun playing around with it. I've been wanting to mix things up for a while now, and again, thank you so much to my patrons over on Patreon for just supporting this channel. Your support really does allow me to experiment and try new things and help make this YouTube channel the best that it can be. So thank you so much. And if you're new here and you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe down below. I put out 2 videos for your viewing pleasure every week. And if you'd like to support this channel or get some bonus content, again, head on over to my Patreon page. And that said, happy knitting, happy sewing, happy making, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!